the world. And I don't want to get things too complicated here, but I must mention this because even when they went on to get on into the world to give birth to children and to start living, it was not still in alignment with God's original plan, so much so that he destroyed the world again and used Noah to build a new family. I hope you are really listening to me. I hope you are really listening, even if you are washing plates or you are doing something else. I hope that you are really listening. So even after God had created Adam and Eve, we know the story of how Eve listened to the serpent and all those and everything in between, and how the world. So we have Cain kills Abel, and it just goes on and on and on until the world turns into this unbearable place and sight for God who created the world in the first place. So now God is looking at the world. Yes, this is how he wanted the world to come through the multiplication of people, through the multiplication of through man and woman coming together to actually multiply the world for his kingdom and for the expansion of his work. But he looks down on earth and he sees that is not what is going on, apart from a man, Noah, who is walking with God. And he says, I'm going to press the reset button. Even though this was all the creations that I created, I will press the reset button because this was not the plan in the beginning. So what does God do? God presses the reset button through the flood, and then we have Noah and his family saved, and they are the new Adam in that sense, or the new creation. I'm not say it in that way so that it doesn't confuse people, because we have the second Adam as Jesus, as it is stated in the Bible. But what I'm saying is that so Noah is the new family, especially in the context. Let's give it to the context of what I'm talking about. Noah is the new family that God now wants to use to multiply the earth, and he promises through a rainbow that he will not destroy the earth again. Of course, with the hope, God banking on Noah and his family that they would establish and expand his kingdom through the instruction he has given and through their lives. Marriage is necessary. Marriage is not an emergency. Marriage is necessary. Marriage is not an emergency. What can you learn from just the brief accounts that we have shared? What we can learn is, if a marriage is not coming together for the will of God and the expansion of God's kingdom, there's no need for it to hold. It's just not needed. It is not compulsory to get married if the purpose is not the end goal of God's kingdom expansion. So what you get in this generation is you get a guy or you get a girl who think that coming together to get married is for their pleasure. Coming together to get married is because of their emotions. Coming together to get married is for one brand building or the other. And then you get into it, it is a whole mess and everything is destroyed, and people are going around talking badly about the institution of marriage. How does this even make any sense? How? I want you to think about it. So when I say marriage is necessary, marriage is not an emergency, because it really is not. When the second Adam came, Jesus, he was able to carry out his own assignment without marriage. He just was able to do that because marriage is not an emergency. If you are not going to do it in the context, if you're not going to do marriage God's will, according to the way the Creator has ordained and according to the way the Creator foresees, there's no need to get into it. There's no need to get into rethinking it's an emergency when you're going to rush out back, or when you're going to be in it and you're not going to actually be living out the original purpose for which it was ordained by God. So when I preach and I share this message. I am sharing the message because it is God's desire to see you marry His will. It is God's desire to see you walk in accordance with how He would have you live out His purpose in your life and through your family. We already established in the first two messages about how the purpose of marriage is really for God's expansion. Marriage is a God's expansion project initiative. So if you have been given an assignment to expand God's kingdom without marriage, it's not do or die. It's not a do or die affair. And this is the posture that I want you to take, so that you do not play or have the currency of desperation and a man thinks that you just cannot move without him because you are waiting and stalling to be married. It is possible that God has already even told you, yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that you're going to do through marriage. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things you're going to do through marriage. By all means, if God has said it, He will keep it. He will keep His word. And that is why I continue I have a book, 50, which has over 50 places actually, that you can be found by the man of your dream. So if God has given you these clear words, then go on to take what I call believing steps. So read books like that, pray, be in places and be positioned where you are supposed to be. We have all of these discussions, and these are discussions that I share, especially through writings, through counseling. I even create a platform on the radio show that God has given to me for people to meet. So there are ideas out there if God has spoken to you, but it's not for you to use those ideas as a means to desperation, but rather it's for those ideas to lead to the purpose. And at the end of the day, just like I was reading recently, although it has already been shown in the Bible, the best place to get and receive your partner is going about your life daily. It's not by posting your life, it's not by shouting, it's not by dancing on Instagram. It's by going about your life daily, obeying the instructions that God would have you do. Because just like I was sharing, was it in the last episode, Ruth was not going to look for men. She was following a woman that most likely did not have any man to give to her. But it was in the midst of that God gave her a man. So it's not about trying to manipulate your way into marriage. It's not going to work. It's about walking one step at a time, especially if you're a believer, or you are really a believer, walking one step at a time in accordance with God's will. And God is going to put your man in the path of the purpose, because the essence of you both coming together is for the expansion of God's kingdom through your purpose collaborating together.